This is a story from centuries ago. In a remote desert area near Damascus lived an elderly woman who had been suffering from a severe illness for many years. The disease had weakened her body, and the pain had exhausted her soul. Many local healers tried to treat her, but all failed. There was only one physician who could cure her, but he lived far away in the famous city of Baghdad. Reaching him was extremely difficult, especially for a poor and sick woman. To understand the situation in modern terms, imagine a poor person in Pakistan or India suffering from a life-threatening disease, while the only specialist doctor is in America. The distance, cost, and travel requirements would be almost impossible. In the same way, traveling to Baghdad in those days was nothing short of a dream. Despite this, the old woman's faith in Allah was unshakable. She would always say, "Allah is my protector. He himself will send the physician to my home, and Allah alone will create the means. He is my master and creator. Remember, there is no limit to Allah's power. He can turn the impossible into possible in moments and create means that human beings cannot even imagine." This firm belief is the foundation of this story. In those days, journeys were made on camels and horses. The woman had no means of transport, no supplies, and the roads were long and difficult. Yet her faith told her that if anyone could take her to Baghdad, it was Allah alone, or Allah would send the famous physician to her instead. She would say the same thing daily to her daughter. The daughter often smiled at her words, thinking they were only a dream. But what Allah does is beyond human understanding. The old woman sought help from wealthy people in the neighborhood, but no one responded positively. She continued living a helpless life, facing poverty and severe illness with her only daughter. Day by day, her condition worsened. She became so weak that she no longer had the strength to worship or even eat properly. Sometimes she ate a little food. Sometimes she survived only on water. Yet she never stopped knocking on Allah's door. She continuously prayed for healing with patience and faith. Time passed, and then one night, when the entire neighborhood was asleep, there was a loud knock on the door. A voice called out, "Sister, can we have shelter for a few hours until morning?" Thinking they were travelers in need, the woman opened the door and saw two unfamiliar men. They were in very poor condition, clearly exhausted from a long journey on foot. The daughter ran to her mother and told her everything. At first, the mother refused. She said, "There is no man in our house. How can we allow strange men inside at midnight?" The travelers had no choice but to sit outside the door, exhausted and helpless. Soon, the mother's compassion awakened. She saw her own sons in those men. Her heart softened, and she told her daughter to invite them inside, but keep them in a separate room, provide food and water, and avoid unnecessary conversation while maintaining modesty. The daughter prepared simple food with whatever was available and arranged a place for them to sleep. That night, the old woman remained awake, groaning in pain and praying, while quietly keeping an eye on the guests. At dawn, the travelers woke up, performed ablution, prayed, and prepared to leave. They asked the old woman for her prayers. Seeing their devotion and piety, she lovingly stopped them and said, "My sons, do not leave without breakfast. Allah sent you to our door." One of the men gently asked, "Mother, you seem ill. What is wrong? How long have you been suffering?" She replied softly, "My son, this illness is from Allah, and I am content with His will. It has been about 10 years. I have no son or brother. My husband passed away 10 years ago. I have only one daughter, and my Allah, He alone is my support." After a pause, she added, "There is a famous physician in Baghdad. I have heard many have been cured by Allah through him. I hoped my illness might also be treated, but I have no strength or means to travel such a distance." Hearing this, the two men looked at each other in surprise. The woman then looked toward the sky and said with a faint smile, "My faith is that the one who gave the illness will also grant healing. He will send the cure himself." One man stepped forward and said gently, "Mother, how would you feel if I told you that Allah has accepted your prayer?" She looked at him in amazement. He continued, This man beside me is the very famous physician from Baghdad. Allah sent him to you. We came to Damascus searching for a rare herb. Our horses got frightened at night. We fell and wandered in the dark until we reached your home. This is not a coincidence. Allah brought us here. The physician examined her and assured her of treatment at home. He even took responsibility for all expenses. Later, the physician sent his son with medicine. When the young man saw the daughter, both felt a connection. The physician, impressed by the girl's character and hospitality, had already intended this visit as a proposal. Soon, the daughter was married to the son of the renowned and wealthy physician. With just a few days of treatment, the old woman recovered completely. She then moved to Baghdad with her daughter, living a peaceful and comfortable life. She would often advise her daughter, always place complete trust in Allah, cry before Him alone. He listens to everything. I was helpless, sick, poor, and old. Yet Allah granted me honor, health, and happiness because He sees sincerity. The lesson of this story is clear. No matter how difficult the situation, call upon Allah with sincerity. He alone hears, sees, and provides the best solutions. And for children, a golden lesson remains. Sincere service and obedience to parents brings blessings in this world and the hereafter that cannot be achieved by effort alone. May this story inspire faith, patience, and trust in Allah.